ಬಂದಿದೆ ಬಂದಿದೆ ಹಿರಿಯರ ವಾಣಿ, ಹಿರಿಯರೇ ಇತರ ರಾಜ ರಾಣಿ, ಹತ್ತೋಣ ನಾವು ಅವರ ನೆನಪಿನ ದೋಣಿ, ಕೇಳುತ್ತಾ ಖುಷಿ ಪಡೋಣ ಹಿರಿಯರ ವಾಣಿ, ಕೇಳ್ತಾನೆ ಖುಷಿ ಪಡೋಣ ಹಿರಿಯರ ವಾಣಿ, ಕೇಳ್ತಾನೆ ಖುಷಿ ಪಡೋಣ ಹಿರಿಯರ ವಾಣಿ. ಇದು ಹಿರಿಯರ ಕತೆ ಹಿರಿಯರ ಜೊತೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹಿರಿಯರ ವಾಣಿಯಲ್ಲಿ. ಕೇಳ್ತಾನೆ ಇರಿ, ಖುಷಿಯಾಗಿರಿ.
Hello listeners, this is your RJ Sripriya and I welcome you all to Anubhav, a joint project of National Institute of Social Defence, Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, Government of India and Media for Community Foundation, implemented by Nightingale's Medical Trust. Project conceived by Dr. R. Sridhar, Project Investigator Alok Verma, Coordinators Pooja Murada, Sai Sudha and Kaushalya. Government of India has initiated Elderline toll-free number 14567. Elders or anyone on behalf of elders can call between morning 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. for any questions, queries and support to elderly. Today's theme for our talk session is sharing best childhood memories. We have a few members here with us to share their best childhood experiences. So firstly, let's hear it from Mrs. Lalita Rao.
I want to talk to you something about what I remember of my childhood. When I was very young, I don't remember the exact age, maybe about 6 or 7. I and my sister went down from the flat where we were living in Calcutta, and just then we had got a small toy. The toy was like a drum, fixed in such a way. It was a very simple toy. And 2 sticks, when you pull it, it would go on playing like a drum. Taka, 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 taka sound would come. So she had got it. She was elder to me. And she said, Lalta, let's go down. We'll play with this. So she dragged me and pulled me down. We both were playing with it, dragging it along, and then suddenly what happened was a big, it was not a bull, oxen. It came chasing because it heard this sound, and I don't know, maybe it saw us running, so it started chasing. And then I was holding the thread, and I was very close to the wall. It came and stood against me. I couldn't get out. I was so scared. And I started screaming, Akka, Akka. And she was scared too. She was wondering why she ever thought of playing with it and dragging me along. And then after some time, I was sweating. I was frightened. I did not know what to do. But thank God, some elderly person came and drove that oxen and took us inside. Even to this day, I can't forget that experience. And whenever I see a big cow or an oxen, I just can't go near it. So I can't forget it. This is one experience. And the other one is, I and my younger brother, who's about 4 years younger to me, I must have been about 10 and he must have been 6. He was a daredevil. He never used to sort of think or never used to bother. He used to do all sorts of things. We were playing in the backyard. There was a drain, a hole, and something was sticking out of the drain. He thought it was a rope or something, and he was trying to pull it very hard. It wouldn't come. And I just came and I saw, then I got a shock of my life. It was not a rope, but it was a snake, the tail of a snake. The head of the snake was stuck inside and he was pulling it. Oh my God. I screamed and just pulled him away and ran inside. To this day, I can't forget that experience. Thank you, my friends.
Thank you, Lalita ma'am. It was a fun and a scary experience. Now, let's hear it from Mrs. Vathsala.
This incident happened when probably I was about 6 years old or so. And since my father was in a transferable job, we were staying in Sagar, that is Shivamogga district, which is very near to Jog Falls, which all of you know. Those who are familiar with Karnataka, you know that Jog Falls is a very attractive tourist spot. So we were about 40 kilometers from Jog. That was our place where we were residing. And one day, a van full of my relatives, they were on the way to Jog to visit Jog, and they took me, my cousins and my aunts, uncles, and all of them. So I went with them for fun, and then we went to the Jog Falls. And at that time, since this happened about 70 years back, these barricades, the safety procedures, all of these were not yet built there. It was mostly open space with probably one or two ropes or a bar, a few iron bars for safety's sake. And I was just walking along what you call that jubilee, that is something like a cement platform. And my cousin, who was also about 6 years old, she suddenly pushed me, and I directly fell into the slope, which would lead all the way down, probably maybe 700, 800 feet, I don't know what. So without knowing, she was also very young, and she just pushed me, and I fell. And I went down screaming, kapadi, 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 because I didn't know what to do. And thankfully, there were a lot of shrubs there, and I caught hold of those shrubs. And I am very sure that even if there were no shrubs, I would not have fallen to my death. Probably I would have, my fall would have been arrested somewhere. But anyway, it was very scary for me at that time. And then after 5 minutes or so, some grown-up persons came, and they pulled me out and carried me back to safety. And later on, I was very proud that I underwent this adventure, and I boasted about all this to my parents. And my cousin later on became my best friend, and we grew up together. And so many times I would tease her that she pushed me into Jog Falls. So that was one memory which has been etched, and we would make fun of this incident, both of us, always whenever we would meet. Thank you.
These two memories reminded me of my childhood. When I was 6 years old, I had a red velvet frock, and my mother used to took me every day evening about 6 o'clock for a round on a bicycle. And in Kolhapur, there are so many buffaloes and cows and all on the road, and we were staying outside the city. So one day when we were going on red bicycle with my red frock, my mother used to take, and you may be knowing buffaloes and these cows, they are very scary, or I don't know, but they are after red color. Even in buffaloes racing, they take a red flag and they run forward, and the buffaloes run afterwards. That's what nowadays I came to know. But that time, that one buffalo came behind me running, and my mother's, all people were shouting, "Madam, madam," karke. Immediately my mother took me in her hand, and the bicycle was there, and that buffalo pushed that bicycle and 2-3 parts were there. I don't know what would have been if nobody shouted there and all. So that is not happy memory, that is scary. Just first when Lalita told me, I remember that one. Still, I feel like that. Anyway, that was, but good memories are that when I was small, my uncle, maternal uncle, is a pilot. So at 5 or 6 years old, he took me in the cockpit and showed me all those instruments and how to fly and that one. So that is the memory which still I remember. And we were in Air Force, so I also remember everything, and very nice memories those were. But that, anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Vathsala ma'am and Supriya ma'am. That was indeed fun. Now let's hear it from Padma ma'am.
I was studying in 8th standard perhaps, and we used to be kind of, we all always had a gang, and 7 or 8 of us kind of used to get together and do some mischief or the other in the class. It was a class of just 20, 22, that's all. And the subject Hindi used to be very boring, because I used to know Hindi before itself, being my mother tongue. So, Hindi used to be very boring. So it was almost at Diwali time. And what we did was, the small red crackers. There's one which you just pound it and it will make a noise, isn't it? So what we did is, just kept under the legs of the chair. I kept 4 under the each chair of the Hindi teacher. All of us did it because I could not have done alone. And then, she was kind of, overweight also. If a thin person would sit, it would. So she came, and what we did was, we stuck them so that they don't move under the legs. And as soon as she sat down, 2 or 3 of them burst. But she got so scared, and she got up from the seat. Thank God she didn't fall down. But we were all taken to the principal for doing this. And the principal made us stand outside for nearly 2 hours. No lunch that day, nothing. And we were just hoping that they don't complain it to our parents. But then we, apologized and said we won't do that again. And then she said you can go. That was just a playful thing. So she was kind of concerned. Okay, and I would say one more, which is kind of romantic. I hope it doesn't become. You wanted to listen to that, Chandan, Priya, but it is not childhood. That was we just got married, and I think I must have told before also. And those time, I used to go to the public garden and sit. You remember that I told you this? Yeah. So we were, both of us were sitting in the public garden in the evening time, and I was wearing just a pant and shirt, and looking very small in front of him. So around, it was almost getting dark, and we were sitting there, and a policeman came, the security came there, and asked, who are you? We said, we are married couple. We just got married. He didn't believe us. He said, you are not married. You ran away from home. I was very tiny. My height is small, so I was looking very tiny. So they thought that he must have, taken me from the home. Then we were sitting there for a long time and tried to convince him that we are married, but he didn't believe me. Then after some time, after 15-20 minutes, he said, no, we're nothing doing. You must come to the police station. So he took us to the police station, the nearby police station. This happened in Hyderabad. So we were taken to the police station. There also we were trying to convince him. They were not listening to us, nothing. Then finally, we can't carry certificates and everything, just to prove that we are married. But then, then I had to call my brother-in-law to prove that we were married. And my brother-in-law came and he said that they are married, and he paid 100 rupees to the policeman, and then he relieved us from there. It was a real experience.
Thank you, Padma ma'am. Now we have Mrs. Surekha.
This is the story when I was 3 years old, 3 to 4 years old. In fact, I don't know anything. This is these things are narrated by mother. That's all. When I was 3 with me, he came along with me. I was afraid, what is he doing? But he gave me another chocolate. So I was just interested and I went along with him. He took me to the nearby garden. And there he was sat there and slowly started removing my earrings. Even that, because he had given me a chocolate, I was very interested in that chocolate. I didn't know what he's doing. Then he removed the earrings also. And then again he came back, nearly very slowly came and sent me to my house, nearby. And I went out. Then afterwards my mother saw me and said, where are your earrings? Then I narrated her. No, so somebody had came in and he took me somewhere and he removed it. Then we gave the police complaint also. Afterwards, court case was also there. So many court cases were there, but we couldn't get our earrings at all. Only the going and coming itself is the big problem. Then slowly get it. Then I got a scolding, and from that onwards, my mother or anyone, they never used to send me anywhere. It was just like a house arrest. Just because it was an apartment, I couldn't feel anything. But that is don't remember, but when they say it, I just get afraid. Suppose if they have taken me somewhere else, it would have been a big problem.
Thank you, Surekha ma'am. Now let's hear the best experience of Mr. Annappayya.
I was in 5th standard or 6th standard. I got a cycle. So I was, up to then I was walking around for school and everything. Thereafter, I started riding the cycle everywhere. In our town, small town, whenever you see a policeman in the intersection, all vehicles, even two-wheelers, three-wheelers, have to slow down as a mark of respect to the police. And cycle fellow has to get down and walk. And after some time, he can ride. So, and there is one other rule, I think the British rule, when the electricity did not reach those small towns and villages, that every vehicle should have a lamp. Even cycles should have a lamp. People used to have dynamo or a wick lamp or something like that. So it was 56, 57. Only in 56, electricity came to our town. So that is a rule. After 6 o'clock, everybody should have a lamp to the cycle. So I was riding the cycle, didn't see the policeman. So I didn't get down also. So the policeman stopped me. Come on, he asked me. I said, sorry, I didn't see you. No matter. So where is the lamp? Sir, it is not dark. It is light all round. Then I said, is it so? It's not dark. So you do not know the rules. I said, it's light. There is no need for a lamp at this time. Okay. Then he removed the blow of my cycle. He removed the wall tubes and all those things. so made it flat. So I asked him, sir, what are you doing? I have to go reach home also. It's just another 4 kilometers away. He said, why you want air? There is light, air all round, so you can go, he said. So I have to carry the cycle and go instead of cycle carrying. That's a small incidence of experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Annappayya sir. Now we have Mr. Madhusudhan.
Okay. I do remember that is one incident that when I was at the age of 7, that is on 12th, that I was studying class 6th. Then that I was very fond of playing football. Our home is very that near to that seashore. Then that is that whenever that is played in the school, that sound used to come to my ear. So I became that is very anxious to play. So my father, he was very poor, and he said that is you go field and work. I went to field and working. Evening time when I heard the football sound, I started that is giving complaint that my tummy is paining. So I ran away from that is field and I went to school ground that for playing football. Then my brother behind me, he sent my brother that see where he has gone. He said that he told that he is feeling his stomach pain and where he has gone. Then my brother, he followed me. Then he saw that I was playing the football in the school. Then he caught hold of me and dragged me there from there in school. He started beating there in front of that is all students, other things. Then he took me in the field again. Then I worked there again. And that is the incident I remember. Another incident that is very serious incident. When I was that is in Chandigarh, I had to go to Leh, Ladakh. Ladakh, that is there, IL-76 to operate, that is to bring people from the land that is dropped in Chandigarh. To go here and there, leave people, that is, they covered the army and air force, all personnel, those are proceeding leave, other things, they have to pick up from there in Chandigarh, that is Leh. So I went also TD, temporary duty to Leh, and I stayed there 15 days. After 15 days, when my turn came, then there was a rush, big rush in the near to airplane. Because suddenly the weather changes. Suddenly in Ladakh is there such a way, it changes the weather and that snowfall comes. Then that trip is cancelled. It was 4 or 5 days, there was no trip to Chandigarh. So I held up there. And army personnel also that they used to come. When I approached the airfield, they said that is too much rush there, we cannot take, whenever that name those are given early, they can proceed. I went there, that my name was there. Then some army personnel, a Naib Subedar, he approached me. He said, my daughter marriage there at home, so I have to go. Then I said that no, I am held up here 15 days, I have to go also. Then he requested the pilot. The pilot, he said, okay, I'll refuel some fuel to less weight, I'll take, if you are genuine ground. Then so he was so happy, he started running to bring his bag and baggage from the camp. Then in Leh, there is oxygen is very shortage. You cannot run very fast. So what he did, he ran by so happy, he started running. Then on the way, he fell down. Then he collapsed there. That is suddenly got heart attack. He collapsed there, and they took to hospital, but he was no more. This is a thing that is I do remember whenever that is throughout this, I am alive, I can remember that things. I have seen that incident on my eye, in my eyes. This is that.
Thank you for sharing such an experience, Madhusudhan sir. Now we have Mrs. Sandhya Rani.
मतलब एज मालूम नहीं, बचपन की बात है। हम लोग तो ज्यादा गांव में पले बड़े हैं, तो हमारा जो घर था उसमें एक बहुत बड़ा सा पॉन्ड है, और हम लोग जॉइंट फैमिली में भाई बहन सब मिलकर वहाँ नहाने जाते थे पॉन्ड में। वो पॉन्ड ऐसा था कि जैसे स्विमिंग पूल से और बड़ा होगा, ऐसा पॉन्ड, बहुत बिग पॉन्ड। फिर हम लोग क्या करते हैं, उसमें लाइन होके जैसे स्विमिंग वगैरह करते हैं, लाइन में खड़े हो जाएंगे और खड़े होके स्विमिंग करेंगे। स्विमिंग कौन कैसा करेगा, ऐसे करके हम लोग स्विमिंग करते थे। और रोज मतलब ये हमारा एक था कि छुट्टी के दिन में, ज्यादातर स्कूल वगैरह नहीं होगा, तो हम लोग ऐसा ही बहुत मतलब खेले हैं, एंजॉय किए हैं भाई बहन सब मिलके। बहुत अच्छा लगता है वो भी, अभी भी वो चीज मेरे को कभी कभी याद आ जाती है, अच्छा लगता है वो चीज।
Thank you, Sandhya ma'am. Thank you to all the members for sharing one of your best memories with all of us. Listeners, I hope you all enjoyed listening to the program as well. Stay tuned to Hiriyaravani for more such programs. Government of India has initiated Elderline toll-free number 14567. Elders or anyone on behalf of elders can call between morning 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. for any questions, queries and support to elderly. Bye for now. Take care.